It is April 22nd. It is 3:50 p.m. and I am sitting down with Kristine Berry to discuss the investigation involving her father. Okay, now it's just K, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I am at 4. Is it Berry? You go by Berry, right?
Yes.
And I'm at 417 Southwest Tulip. And I've got your number. How long have you lived here?
2017.
2017?
October 2017.
And where did you live before that?
1942.
Okay. And how long did you live at 1942?
08.
And that's when Mom and Dad bought the house?
They bought it in 2007.
Okay.
They moved there in 2007. I moved in 2008.
Where were you for a year?
One of my godparents' house. I wanted to finish school.
Ah, well, that makes sense. Okay. So 2008 to 2017. Who lives here with you?
It's a couple people.
Okay, so we have some room renters and things like that. Okay, all right. All right, do you own the home or do you rent also?
Rent. You
rent also. And you've been here renting for 4 years. That's cool. Okay, let's see here. You lived with Mom and Dad for 9 years.
At that house.
At that house. Obviously, when you were a child, you lived with them also. Okay. How is your relationship with Mom?
It's good.
Okay. Do we ever argue? I mean, I didn't get along with my mom. I know how that is. We completely butted heads. How was it with your mom?
No.
No? Just a good relationship.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
All right.
Of course, there's times when, I didn't agree.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Mom and I didn't fight every day, but we would butt heads because she was my mom and I was the daughter. So you and Mom would butt heads periodically, but...
I wouldn't even call it butt heads. Butt heading would be more on my dad's side.
Okay, all right. So you and Mom could disagree, but nothing outrageous.
Yes.
Okay, and that's with Mom. Okay. Now, we've talked before, between the course of this investigation, that you and Dad you guys weren't best friends. Okay? Tell me about that. Just fill me in on that.
I would say we got closer once I had Kyra, my daughter. But before that, no.
But you lived there.
Yes.
So, I mean, obviously it wasn't that horrible. You were able to live there with him. Okay, so tell me about it. What would you guys argue about? How was it? I mean, did we have physical fights?
No.
Okay. Did we have screaming matches where the neighbors were calling?
No.
Okay. So tell me about a disagreement with Dad. How would it go down?
I'm 18. I wanted to go out with friends or whatnot. He always curfew is this time. I would try to rush to get home to try to make it there. If I'm 5 minutes late, it was a problem.
And how would the problem go?
Kristine, you disobedient me, you're not listening to me, stuff like that. And I raced here. I called my mother and let her know I am going to be late. I don't care. I told you to do this. This is what I expect. Stuff like that.
Okay.
Just beyond strict. Stuff like that.
Okay. So, and you were 18, which is where you felt that it crossed the line.
Even right before I left, moved out, it was like that.
Okay. Was it a yelling match? Was it how would he be talking to you?
I wouldn't say yelling, but anytime he talks, he's stern with it.
Okay.
And then after a while, the type of person I just stay quiet, just all right, I'll wait till you're done.
Okay. How long would it go on? Would he remind you about it for days? Was it just that talk and then we moved on?
He would talk that day, and then he'll bring it up to my mother. They talk, and then my mother come back and say, Kristine, you got to do it this way, da da da. I'm all right. Then he'll come back another time, and then after that, we'll be done.
And that was pretty much the standard procedure. Okay.
Everything.
Okay. But again, you lived there for 9 years. So I mean, how did it make you feel when he did that? Were you angry? Did you tell me how you felt?
I would say I am upset.
Okay.
Like, it's like I'm used to it. That's what I've been experienced my whole entire life with him.
Okay, so...
It's always stern. It's like, okay, whatever.
All right. So, did you hate him for it?
I wouldn't say hate, no.
Okay.
Hate is a strong word.
Huh?
Hate is a strong word. It's more like, I'm staying my distance. I don't want you to come after me, being mad at me or anything like that. I'm going to keep my distance. I want to be on your good side.
Okay. All right. So, you would just... and mind your own business for a while, but...
Whenever you come, you talk to me? Talk. But I'm not going to be like, oh, hey, no.
Okay. So, with Dad being so stern growing up, did you guys celebrate holidays?
Holidays, yes, but it would be everyone there, like my mom, my sisters, and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, okay. Would Mom and Dad buy you things for your birthday?
He'll always give me a card and with some money in it.
Okay. Just Dad, or what would Mom do?
It would say from Mom and Dad.
Okay. So, what you got, they always bought you a birthday gift?
Yes.
Okay. Did the money decrease when you were in trouble? Did it increase when you were a good girl?
No.
Okay. What about Christmas?
It's the same thing, a card with some money in it.
Okay. They didn't buy gifts?
No, only for like the kids, but not necessarily myself and my sister. So it's a card.
Now, when you were little, though...
I was young, like 10 down.
Right.
Yes.
Toys, the whole gamut. Okay.
Yes.
But as you got older, then Mom and Dad would give you a card with money.
It was made more because I don't want toys. I would just give me some money.
Okay. So that was actually your request. Yes. Okay. All right. So there was never a time that they withheld gifts?
No.
Okay. Was there ever a time that you didn't buy your father something because you were angry with him?
No.
Okay. So again, for the 9 years, he was incredibly strict. You did not like it, but obviously it wasn't bad enough to make you move out.
No.
And did you have places to go that you could have?
Yes.
Okay. So you never moved out. Wasn't the end of the world.
No.
Okay. All right. Did your dad ever hit you? Did he ever strike you? Did he ever spank you?
As a kid.
Okay. And what would that be? Would it be a hit, a spanking, smack in the face?
Belt, stuff like that. I had one since I moved up here.
Okay, and you moved up here in 2008. How old were you in 2008?
I really don't.
Huh?
I don't know.
What's your date of birth?
March 11, 92. I want to say 15, 16.
8 and 8 would be 16, so you were around 16 years old. 15 and a half, 16. What would you do that would make your father angry? And be honest, because I'll be honest with you. Let me show you my transparency. I always had to have the last word. Okay? I would, Mom said to, she'd say take a left and I'd take a right. Just that kind of thing. And the thing of it is I don't know. I just didn't want to do what she told me to do. It was just stupid stuff, kid stuff. So with Dad, what would make him angry would be what type of behavior? What would you do? Just rattle off some things that ticked him off.
It was mainly curfew. Where am I going? It's just stuff like that.
What about anything else? I mean, were you disrespectful with your mouth?
No, I never cursed, nothing like that. Now, you want to be like, say, like sarcasm? Maybe a little.
Would that make him angry?
Yes.
And when we talk about Dad being angry with you, what was his level of anger? Like, I'm pretty sure my mom's head would spin and she would scream at the top of her lungs. What was Dad's level of, and I'm using my mother as, and she would just laugh at me right now because we are like best friends. But the relationship is what it is. We can't change it. I was a kid and she was my mother. But, that was her. I'm using her because that's an example. So what was Dad's level of angry with you?
didn't really like yell. He just like, it was very stern in his voice when he talks. But after a while, it's just like, Kristine, I don't want to talk no more. Stuff like that. He'll just cut it off.
Would you try to plea bargain with him?
Yes.
And explain?
Yes, I have. And there's a couple times when I was like, I cried in front of him a few times. It's like, I want us to have a relationship, a better relationship with the brother. He's like, Kristine, move out my way. I'm done talking. Stuff like that.
And when he would say that, would you continue to try to talk to him?
I'll keep continuing until I realize that it's not getting nowhere, and I'll just walk away crying, and I'll go to my mom crying.
So even if you keep trying to explain why you were late or explain something, he wouldn't have none of it.
No.
Okay. So he didn't, did he throw things? So it was just a talk.
Yes.
That's the level of his anger. That's the level of, what about discipline? Now you were living in that house from the time you were 16 until you were about 24, 25 years old. So was there ever any discipline?
Not really. Or, Kristine, I don't want you to go here, Kristine. Stuff like that. It was nothing, I'm going to take away the car or nothing like that. No. It was just always what he says goes, and I pretty much did. The only thing I didn't really do was 12 o'clock is your curfew. I'd come 12:05, 12:10.
And he wouldn't even tolerate that. Okay. Was there ever a time that you just absolutely hated your father?
That one, I still wouldn't say hate, but that time I told you when I cried, that's you know what? At that point I said, you know what? I'm done trying. You don't want to have a relationship with me. I'm done trying.
But did he not treat you like a daughter? Well, you were crying and you gave up. You were trying to make him happy. You always seemed to disappoint him, and you were crying. When was this? How old were you?
It was up here. I was probably around that same age, 17, around there.
Do you remember what it was that you'd gotten in trouble for?
No.
And what did he say when you said, I want a relationship? And
he was watching football, and he says, Kristine, I don't want to talk right now, but talk later. And that later never came up. He said, move out my way, I don't want to talk.
When okay, so at 17, 18, you were just like, he's always going to be upset with me. I can't make curfew. I can't make him happy. When that happened, how was your did you not speak to him in the house? Did you guys go weeks without even looking at each other? How was the relationship around the house?
We saw each other. We say hi to each other. Good evening, whatever. If he said anything more to me, I answer you.
Okay. So it was still a relationship. It just wasn't close.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Kristine, do you want... He always go out get his fruits. Kristine, you want to eat the fruits? Yes, no, whatever you ask
So
me.
conversation,
Yes.
just not... Okay. Did you still hug and kiss him? Did you tell him that you loved him?
No. I don't even remember how many times throughout my life that I got hugs and kisses or anything like that.
Did Carrie Ann get him and Michael get him and Mom get him?
No. My mom, I don't know. Not really in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe behind closed doors, I guess. But no, them neither, no.
What do you mean no?
No, they didn't get like hugs, kisses.
Okay,
Because
so...
I guess how he explains it, that he didn't really get that as a child.
He explained it to you once?
Yes.
Okay.
He's like, because his father wasn't really, he didn't live with his father. When he first moved, he lived with his father, but when he came to Miami and all that, he never lived with his father. So it's like he never experienced that as a father growing up. He didn't have that example, so he didn't put that into work towards us.
Did that help explain it?
Yes, but I still wanted more.
And he just couldn't break the habit.
Correct.
So his explanation, would you remember how that conversation got brought up, or was it just the whole, okay. So at some point in time, you guys actually addressed this. And by you guys, is it you and Carrie?
Just him and I.
Huh?
Just him and I.
Okay.
My father.
And he says that he never experienced hugs and kisses as a kid, and therefore he just didn't know how to do it as a dad.
Yes, the only time I really saw him say anything like "love you" and stuff like that was like this. It was my birthday. He was saying like a test, "Happy birthday, love you, Dad," or something like that.
Okay, so it was there. But no, you're telling me that none of the kids got it. So
Right.
it's not like
It's not-
you were over in the corner being cast out, and Carrie Ann and Michael were getting all the kisses and hugs. You're saying that no one did.
All right.
Okay. All right. How was he as a grandpa?
Great.
Do you love honor?
Yes.
Isn't it weird what being a grandparent does? Okay. Anything else about living in that house that I need to know about?
Nothing that I can think of on top of my head.
Okay. When you were living there, did mom and dad sleep in the same room, or did they sleep separately?
They slept in the same room for the most part, but there were times my mom went to sleep in one of the other rooms, mainly because my mother snores extremely loud, and he always had a problem with that. Or my mom liked to have her TV extremely loud. When she watched her shows, he doesn't like it. If the show has one curse word, he's gonna flip. That's me.
How often would you say that happened?
Not often. Once, twice, maybe a week. Because there was times they'd sleep in the room. He'd be like, "You're snoring too loud. You're snoring too loud," and she would just get up and go to the next room.
Okay.
That's all.
But
of
those
our
were
problems.
those were the reasons.
Yes, that's all of our problems. We all snore too loud. Except for him.
Okay. So he was the only non-snorer in the group. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so mom and dad pretty much, that was their bedroom. They slept together, except for the snoring and the loud TV or whatever, and mom would go to the other room. Now, when did Carrie Ann move out?
She first moved out. She moved out, I want to say 2011. She moved back 2013 sometime. And she stayed there up till recently. She just got the house. Sometime this year.
What did dad think about where you guys lived?
When the 2011 and 2013?
No. How does dad, has mom and dad been here?
They haven't necessarily been here, but they've been to the they know the address or whatever. But they have not actually been here, no.
Okay. When we have family, you don't have family get-togethers here?
I always go there.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right, so how did mom and dad treat each other?
Good for the most part. Now, as we've grown up, my father did certain things, like step out of the marriage
Okay. How often did that happen?
that I know of. I know, starting with my brother, that's not my mother's child. They still end up getting married. They were engaged.
Oh, there's a news flash. So mom and dad were engaged to be married. And somebody came up with Michael.
And she still married him. And then there was a second time in Miami. This is like right before we moved over here. He stayed. And there was another time. So I only know about 3 times.
Okay.
If there's more, I don't know.
Okay, so they were engaged and this other woman ends up pregnant with Michael. Do we know that Michael's dad's? Did they figure that out, or
What was that?
did they do like a paternity test or anything, or did Dad admit to what he had done?
Michael and him look extremely.
Okay. All right. So then, Mom and Dad still get married,
Yes.
and then you're saying how far into the marriage? You remember how old you were? You said in Miami.
When the next time happened?
Yeah, the second time.
Yes, it was in Miami.
Do you remember how old you were?
Like 13, 14. It was like right before it happened, like a year or two before they moved up here.
And now when Dad would step out on the marriage, would he like move out for a while, or Mom would just catch him?
She didn't catch him. He got caught. The church, he always it was with the church people. I don't know why. So they would end up telling the pastor, and the pastor told my mom.
Wow. Okay. So that was in Miami, and then you said there was another time here?
It was technically Miami, but to be honest, I don't know completely sure if that is speculations. I don't know for sure for the third one.
Okay.
So I can tell you honestly, I know for sure for those 2 times.
And of course, when Mom and Dad are engaged, that's just something that was said, but you actually know about the other one. And then you think that there was another incident where he was visiting family in Miami, and okay. So that doesn't help a marriage, but how did Mom and Dad get along in between these times? I mean, were they loving? Did they argue? I mean,
Yes.
tell me how they
Both.
behaved. Huh?
Both loving, argue, both, I would say.
Okay.
There's even with all of that going on, especially the second time, my mom would just cry. She's like, I love him, whatever. I was like, you can leave. We're young, yes, but we understand because everybody knew around us, like, you can leave. It's okay. We told her multiple times you can leave,
Right.
and she would never do that.
Okay. So they were anything abnormal about the marriage? They slept together, except for the snoring in the TV. Then when they'd argue, how would the arguing go? Did it ever get physical?
No.
Okay. How loud would it get?
It wasn't until recently that I saw them arguing in my face when I was living there. It's like when I moved, probably like when I was 15, whatever age. That's when it was up here. It's when I actually seen it in person. Growing up in Miami, I didn't see that. I guess they would do it behind doors.
Okay.
So,
If they did.
Yes.
We don't know. Nobody knows if it was. Okay, so up here in PSL, once you moved up here, that's when you finally saw
I
them
saw it
fight.
face to face.
And how'd it go? How did it look? What kind of fighting?
they would get loud at each other.
Okay.
Never physically or anything like that. They go to still sleep in the same room, just go to sleep angry. And then he will end up saying something to me or one of us, just, your mom this and that. You will argue about stupid stuff like, a wife duties is supposed to cook and clean, blah 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 blah, stupid stuff like that.
That's usually what marital fights are about anyway. Stupid stuff. Okay, but never physical. How often would you see them argue or hear them argue? Let's go per month. Okay, per 6 months.
I really don't know. I can't.
I mean, was like it all the time, or was it like so random you can't put a number to it?
I wouldn't say all the time. Maybe about that, what I say about wife should cook or whatever, that was more often. But other than that, not often.
Now, when we talk about fighting, like the wife's supposed to be cooking and cleaning, was it more bickering or was it a full-blown fight?
Bickering.
Bickering, bitching at each other. You're supposed to cook. I don't want to cook, I'm tired. Well, you're supposed to cook. That kind of thing. Okay, so the more common one was the wife cooking and cleaning, but it was more of a bickering.
Yes.
So the big loud fights that were genuinely, I'm seriously angry, how often would those happen?
It's not often. That those were more like, oh, the mortgage is due this time. I only have this much of money. I want you to put in more money. This right now. They already split. Okay, he take care of the mortgage. She take care of like water, lights, and whatever, that little stuff, the little stuff. And then he was like, you told me to take care of these stuff. I'm already doing that. Now you want me to give you more money over here. I'm already buying the food and the groceries.
And that's when it would be a big
like
fight.
That.
Okay. Now, did you have any idea, had you heard Mom and Dad talk about downsizing the house?
Yes.
When was the first time you heard that?
Last year. Sometime last year. Because Carrie Ann was still there. And then once Carrie Ann got noticed that the house is final, that her moving date was coming soon, then he was like, okay, now we definitely want to downsize. I started looking around.
Does Carrie Ann doesn't have any children though, right?
Julian, the little boy that was with us.
Oh, phew. Okay. Now, I've seen Kyra so much. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you both have one child.
Yes.
Okay. So it's not like Carrie Ann and him took up that much room.
No.
But as soon as Carrie Ann moved out, then Dad was like, "We're out."
Yeah, because it was just going to be them too.
Okay.
My grandmother had passed away the year or two before that, so it was just them too.
What did they say about it? What do you remember him talking about it?
Just that he wanted to get like a 3-bedroom house. To start looking around. Let's start looking. Yeah, pretty much that.
Do what?
Let's just start looking around for like a 3-bedroom house. He said he wanted at least to have a room for like when the grandkids come over.
Okay. They just never got the chance to look. Okay. Okay. You bought Dad's shoes.
No, Carrie Ann did.
Do you remember Dad's shoe size?
I want to say 9 or 10. It's one of those two.
Okay. This is what I'm trying to remember. The backyard. Okay? Did anybody in the family ever go to the canal?
No.
Okay.
When we first started going there, I went back there because he started planting a little plants back there, and he was showing me them.
So he would take you back there and show you the
Yes.
plants, and that's when you first moved there.
Yes. I never really liked it going over there because he always said that, oh, there could be alligators and snakes, and then there was a snake in the backyard in the gate. So I was like, I'm done with this.
So there's going to be snakes and gators, and all of a sudden there's a snake, and you're like, I'm done. Okay. So when you first moved there, you and Dad would go back there, and he had planted, and he was showing them to you.
Yeah.
Did you help him tend to them or anything?
No.
Okay. How would you get to that part of the yard?
Through the garage, going out. Not the side door, but to actually open the garage and go around.
What do you mean? Open the garage door and go where?
Around the whole house, outside of the gate, and go around.
Oh, okay. So you would go, we're going to pretend we're in Mom and Dad's house, okay? Over here's the garage. You'd raise the garage door.
Correct.
And you'd walk
Go
out.
around, yes.
And would you come through the gate and go through the backyard, or you're saying?
Past the gate, go all the way around.
So you were on the other side of the privacy fence.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, I've been through the backyard, and there's like a little opening inside the gate there too. I've been that way before too.
How many times would you say you've been back there? No.
Less than 5.
Okay. Did Dad go back there a lot? Well, you
To the
wouldn't know.
canal part, I don't think so, but in the actual backyard, all the time.
Do you remember what he had planted back there on the other side of the fence?
No, I know one is like a sugar cane that he was starting, but other than that, I don't know. I never really.
When did he start the sugar cane? Or is that back when he showed you?
Yes,
Okay.
I don't know much details. I never really had.
So he was in the backyard all the time.
Yes.
And you went with him all the way around to the new little plants, and you don't know how many times he went back there to tend to them?
I was never a big outside type of person.
Huh?
I never was a big time outside person.
What
Mainly
about Dad?
because as growing up, they would never allow me to go outside and play, not even in the front yard or bedroom. So I never.
Okay. All right. So you don't. I mean, obviously he went back there at some point in time. He put little plants back there, but you don't know how many times he went back
No.
there. And when you did, you went all the way around the fence to get back to that area. Okay. We talked a little bit the other day about your text to Michael on the day Dad went missing. Tell me about that text. And what prompted you sending it?
Okay, so that week prior, he was talking. We were talking. And he was asking, your mom needs to have surgery.
Face to face or over the phone?
Face to face.
Okay. So you were at the house?
Yes.
All right.
He was telling me that your mom needs to have surgery. Would you be able to cook for me or whatnot? I'm like, yes. I told him yes, and then he would ask again. I'm like, I said,
What do you mean?
Would you tell me the whole scenario again? Your mom needs to have surgery.
The same day?
Yes. Like how we're talking here, and I got to bring it up again. He'll bring it up again. He was just being very forgetful. And then it's like, okay, I'm leaving. She's like, okay, don't forget, I want you to cook for me. It's like, I already established that. Why are we talking about it again?
How many times do you think he mentioned it?
A lot. 4 times.
And this is all in that one day?
Yes.
Okay, and that was the week that Dad went missing. What
Yes,
else?
So that was probably maybe like that Saturday before, the Saturday before, like it was the Wednesday that he went missing, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever you want to call it. So it was that Saturday, and then
That was this conversation?
yes,
Okay.
and then Carrie Ann was moving her stuff over, so I was going in to help, and he's like, okay, I'll come help too. So he
When was this?
still that week.
Oh, Carrie Ann was still moving some stuff?
To moving stuff
Oh,
over.
okay.
She's like, okay,
I thought she had moved before.
No.
Okay. Okay, so Carrie Ann was moving stuff and you were helping, and
Yes.
Dad said,
Okay, yeah, I'm going to bring my truck, because it was like what you call it, the bed form.
Frame.
Yes. So he's like, I'll use my truck and I'll help or whatnot. So I rolled with him over there. And then he was just asking little things and he kept repeating himself again. I was like, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. It's just, my head was hurting. They said I'm dehydrated. I was like, okay. And then he just constantly kept repeating himself. I was like, I said,
What was he repeating in the truck? I mean, how long's the trip?
It's not far, maybe 10 minutes from Fallon to Acelia.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe probably like 10 minutes. He was very worried about my mom having to have surgery. He was just, I don't know. He always was worrying about.
But
other
what was he
people.
repeating in the truck?
Are you going to help me around? Besides just cooking, just help me around the house and stuff like that. Because he had literally just learned how to use a washing machine.
Okay, so he was covering the cooking again, but you said that you asked him if he was all right. What was
Yes.
it he was repeating when you asked him? You said, are you all right? And that's when he said his head was hurting.
Yeah.
But what was it that he was repeating when you finally said, are you all right?
It was just mainly stuff like helping him around the house. He kept repeating stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, sweeping, mopping, laundry, stuff, little things like that, just stuff around the house.
And this is in the truck over to Carrie Ann's.
Correct. And then I was just like, you said this multiple times now. I did say, I can help you. That's no problem. If I'm available, then whatever. And he's like, okay, yeah. And then it's like, so why you keep asking? He said, oh, nothing. You know, I just my head hurt. You know, I was like, you know, you kind of remind me of grandma a little. You're good.
You told him this?
Yes.
What'd he say?
Oh, no. Nothing's wrong like that. Nothing. No. And he would just end the conversation pretty much.
Okay.
And then my mother, my sister, and I, we had a conversation on text message. I don't know if it's still there.
And what do you mean by like grandma? How was grandma?
She was showing early signs of dementia. So I was like, is that hereditary or anything?
So you had the conversation with him on Saturday. When were you helping Carrie Ann move? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? When? He went missing on Wednesday.
Yeah, so it was around the same time. Sunday, probably. Because I always go over there over the weekend, so I always go over there. Okay. So,
Did you ask him about his head hurt and the dehydration?
no, I didn't. So that I'm having a conversation with Carrie. That's Carrie and my mother. I'm the green. And that's the Wednesday, the 10th.
Don't get rid of this, okay? What it should be in the extraction that he did of your phone. If I can't find it, I'll holler at you.
Okay.
I need it. So, and this is like, and Carrie actually said it before. You're allowed to use the word crap.
To her.
Okay. And we're into the stimulus checks. Okay. So there was some concern, and it was just repetitive, but Carrie Ann sounds like she saw it too. Because she said, Carrie Ann says, I told you all that before. Mm-hmm. So she had actually seen some too.
Yes. So then I wrote Michael just out of concerns, like, hey, reach out.
How often did he and Dad talk?
Not often, maybe once or twice a month or something like that. Not often. My dad talked more to his wife than him, actually. It was mainly like, hey, how's the kids or whatever.
Michael's wife.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this was at noon-ish.
So yeah, I reached out to Michael not thinking anything's going to happen or anything like that. Just like, hey.
I don't think anybody saw this coming.
No.
Oh, Kristen, you really got to work on your, conversation about that. Okay, delay surgery. All right, so around noonish, we had this conversation about Dad repeating himself. Mom actually started it by saying she was going to put off her surgery. What surgery was she having? Is that the shoulder?
Yes.
Okay.
She needs 3 surgeries.
Yeah. All right. So now, do you have a boyfriend here?
Yes.
Okay. Where do you guys sleep?
Yeah.
I know
room.
where.
In a room.
In a room. Where? What part of the house?
That's right here.
So you're at the back of the house, the back corner bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. All right. When the night that Dad went missing, okay, Did you talk to Mom? Do you remember talking to Mom?
Carrie Ann got to me because it was the day before my birthday. Every year I normally put my phone on silent because the notification comes in. I didn't want to be disturbed. I wanted to
So the
sleep.
11th,
It's my birthday.
the 10th, okay.
So the 10th I put my phone on silent.
what notifications come in?
Like Facebook, text message, the happy birthday versus
Okay.
birthdays.
So the night of the 10th, you put your phone on,
Silent.
okay, so you weren't getting anything from Mom.
Correct.
When was the first time that you were notified that something was going
I
on?
woke up to use the restroom, and then I saw they had like 40 missed calls between Carrie Ann and my mother.
What time was that?
It was like 4:30. Yeah. And then I called my mom. She didn't answer. So I called Carrie Ann. And she told me what was going on. Trying to see if I can pull it up for you.
Okay, and what did you do at that point?
I jumped up and put some clothes on and left the house.
And what did Mom say?
I'm leaving the house.
And what time is that?
5 o'clock. I said, does Michael know? Did you call Michael?
I hear that. I heard that. So you're talking to Carrie Ann right now as you're scooting out the door? Okay. All right. What did Mom and Carrie Ann say when you got over there?
I was talking to Carrie Ann and she was like, Dad's missing, Dad's missing. I'm like, what do you mean he's missing? Nobody can find him. He's been missing since like 1 o'clock. I was like, Carrie Ann, don't play like that. What are you talking about? Like, no, it's really missing. And then my mom, while I was still on the phone with her, I got in the car. My mom called back, and she was crying on the phone. Do you know where your dad is? Whatever she was saying. And I was like, no, I'm sleeping. On my way now, though. She's like, I can't find him. I can't find him. The cops are here. They have the dogs. They're looking. It's like, okay, calm down. I'll be there soon.
Who was there when you got there?
Brother Patrick was there. My mom, my sister.
Hang on. So Mom's just like, I can't find him. What else did she say on the phone?
I asked her to tell me when was the last time you saw him or whatever. She's like, we was in the kitchen talking. He said something about checking something in the garage. She said, okay. And then she went back to the room. And then 30 minutes went by and she got back up. It's like, why he's not back in the room yet? So she go in the kitchen. She said she didn't see him. Then she went to the garage. And that she didn't see him in there either. And then I asked her, did you check outside? She said that the officers are out there checking right now. I was like, no, I meant like when you said you couldn't find him, did you check outside? Maybe went outside somewhere. She's like, he wouldn't go outside at this time. He will not. His shoes are here. He don't go nowhere without no shoes. I was just like, okay.
What else she say?
She was just crying. It's like, I don't know where he is. I don't know what to do. Jesus, I hope that the cops find him. I hope everything's okay. But then when I got there, I saw the police officer and the dogs up the street. I was like, asking them, did y'all go back there though? To the back of the house. She was like, they went over there. I don't know how far they went, but actually that they went that way.
Which way?
Like you going towards the canal behind the gate.
Okay, so behind the house.
Yes.
Okay. And?
She said, yes, they went back there. I don't know how far they went, but yes, I saw them went down there. Now they're up down the street. I'm like, okay.
Okay, so the canine was up the street. You said, did they go behind the house? And she was like, yeah, they did.
Yes. And then at that point, I was like, Carrie, come with me. I told her I'm leaving. She's like, where you going? Where you going? She's like, I'm going to drive around and call out his name. And that's what Carrie and I was doing for maybe like an hour or so. And then once we got back to the house, the cross the street neighbor, her name is Miss Mary. At this time, it was already, sun came up and whatnot. So Miss Mary's like, hey, I heard y'all calling out Calvin. I heard him answer back. I was like, oh, what? Are you serious? Like, yeah.
This was behind the canal.
Correct.
The reason I know is because the officers were behind the house. Dad wasn't on the shoreline. He wasn't sitting on the side of the hill. And at that point, you're saying 5 o'clock in the morning. Mom says she saw him, I think, around 12:30. Half an hour goes by. Now we're talking an hour. He was already gone at that point. Okay? In other words, she says that she heard him answer, so as a family, we didn't find him, we didn't save him. No, he was already gone, sweetheart. He would not have answered you because of where he was located, the time that you guys you're yelling his name, 5 hours after he went missing. Honey, he was already gone, okay? So if he's capable of answering you at 5 o'clock in the morning, then he should have been visibly seen. And there's just no possible way that he could have been visibly seen. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but that woman, by saying that, gave you guys very false hope and pain in thinking you missed something or we missed something, and we didn't. Okay, we didn't. And again, if Dad was capable of answering you guys, we would have all visibly seen him. The officers would have seen him at 1 o'clock in the morning, because he was in a place where he could answer and he could speak. Then the officers would have seen him at 1. And the canine would have tracked him and. So I live on that canal too. I live further down in that canal. And I can hear my neighbors 5, 6 houses away having a conversation because it travels right down that waterway. Okay? I'm not sure what she heard, but I do not believe that she heard your father. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I don't want you guys to have that heartache thinking that you missed something or that we missed something. 5 hours later, he was already gone. Okay? I just don't know what she heard. I think she was trying to be helpful. Mm-hmm. You know? You guys could be yelling Calvin. Somebody on the other end could have been yelling Calvin. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay? But don't tear yourself up with that. Okay? All right. Okay. And I think I had this conversation with you guys, but that was at the time Dad was missing. And at that point, you know, we had no idea what had happened to him at that point. Mm-hmm. But now that we know what happened to him, it had to be you guys yelling Dad, somebody down here yelling Calvin, or maybe a neighbor steps out and goes, what? And she's thinking it's your dad. I don't know. Okay? All right. So that's it. You guys drove around for an hour. Oh, the list. Who was all at the house by the time when you got there at 5 o'clock. Okay? When you look at your phone, you're like, oh my gosh, I've missed 40 calls. You call in. You haul it when you get to the house, not when you guys get back from your search, because I know people were showing up in droves. Mm-hmm. But when you showed up at 5 a.m., and who was there? You said brother who?
Patrick Harris.
Is this the minister that lives nearby?
No.
Okay. Who is this?
He's kind of the Prima Vista area. But this is one of my father's good friends. They
Well,
call each other
who's the
brothers.
who's the pastor that lives a mile away?
That's a lady. What are you talking about?
Okay.
The lady pastor lives right there.
I don't know if it's male or female. I just know there was a pastor that lived a mile away.
It must be her. She's a
Okay.
pastor.
All right. Okay. So Brother Patrick Harris was there. Obviously, Mom was there. All right. So Mom was there. Brother Harris. Who else?
Carrie Ann and her son,
And what's his name?
Julian.
Julian.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Um, the rest was the cops and the canine.
Okay. A whole bunch of flashing lights and dogs.
Yes.
Okay.
They didn't really have it flashing. They had it like still. The light was still on the top. But it wasn't flashing.
Oh, no, we do that once you get there because it starts really messing with you. And if you actually look at it when you're walking up to your car, you're kind of like, when they move to LEDs, they're very, very bright. Okay. And then at 10 o'clock, I show up and I pretty much know what's gone on since then. I honest to God, girl, I would have no idea where to even begin. It's all like just keeping it in order. Okay, so we're caught up. We've covered, that is one thing that I want to ask. How, growing up, you lived in Miami when you were a child. You moved up here around, I think what we'd established, the 15, 16 age mark. Lived with Mom and Dad for 9 years. Now we know you've already covered Mom snoring, so this would be nice. How was Dad sleeping? I mean, you're saying Dad was the only non-snorer?
Yeah, pretty much. He was pretty much the last person to go to sleep in the house for the most part. He talked on the phone all night long.
Okay.
Just checking on everybody, watching football.
So he was last to go to bed.
For the most part.
And then how long would he sleep in the morning?
He was up and gone by the time I got up.
I mean, since you were little?
Yes.
And how long would you sleep, though? I mean, are you like one of those noon 1 o'clockers?
If I'm not going to work or school, sure.
Okay, if you're going to school and work, what time did you get up?
School, like around 6:30, 7.
Dad would be gone. What about work?
If I got to go at 8, then around that time. But if I got to go like around 11, then around 10.
Okay. So, the earliest you ever got up in your life was to go to school and go to work. And that would be at 6:30, 7 o'clock. And on those times, during those times, Dad was still the last one to go to bed and was up and gone before you even... I mean, because obviously if you're sleeping until 11, well then, yeah, Dad's up and gone. But, so the earliest times that you would get out of bed would be 6:30, 7 o'clock, and Dad would be gone.
Yeah.
What about the weekends?
Weekends, I'm like the first one out. Because I play at churches.
Okay. So you're out...
Or probably 7 o'clock. Because the first church I used to play for was 7:30.
Now, by playing, you mean...
Piano.
Mhm. Okay. But that was on the weekends.
Or Sundays.
Okay. On Sundays. Now, did Dad work Saturdays?
Yes.
Okay, so same concept on Saturdays. Gone. Okay. Does anybody in your house, I mean, you said you got up to go to the bathroom at 4:30 the other day. When Dad goes to sleep, does he stay in bed, or have you caught him prowling around, or?
Sometimes he would sleep on the couch in the living room, or sometimes in the bed. Because if he's up watching a football game and it's taking a long time, he's sleeping on the couch.
But you've never found him wandering around, like
No.
sleepwalking situations?
No.
I mean, when he'd go to bed, he'd watch TV, but then when he was in bed, he was in bed.
Correct.
I think that's it.
Now, like months before he went missing, he went to sleep earlier. Like, he would go to bed. He didn't necessarily go to sleep. He went in earlier.
Okay. Let me rephrase this. Okay, so this would be like, so for a couple months before he passed away.
Yeah, let's say January and February, he would start going in earlier. Because he normally would stay on the couch watching his football, on the phone, hours. Let's say January, February, he would go in 10 o'clock, unless we were bothering him, because at this point my father and I were okay, because like I said, ever since Kyra came, we were okay. So we'll play Just Dance or stuff like that on the game system. I don't even know what the game system is, but we would play. Other than that, if I'm not there, he normally went in like 10 o'clock. And I only know
extremely abnormal for him.
Yes, and not going to sleep because he had a problem falling. He always said he had a problem falling asleep.
But he would go and climb into bed.
Yes.
So, for January and February, he started going to bed at 10 o'clock, but he'd never really go to sleep. He would just, for whatever reason, go he wouldn't do the couch thing anymore, nothing, just into the bed. Before that, he was always the one to stay up very late. He's watching football, talking on the phone, and so this was unusual behavior. So even in January and February, when you're saying that he would drift off to the bedroom, but you didn't live there. I mean,
No,
is this just what Mom would tell you?
Yes, and then if I'm there, I come over. I was always there on the weekends there. So if I didn't, Julian and I was like, hey, let's play a game or something. He would go. He would go in the room early because we didn't do that. And most of the time, it'll be him and Kyra that they'll go in the room and go to sleep.
Okay.
Kyra go to sleep in his arm.
You know, you and Dad, you had your issues with strict. You're wanting to grow up. You're wanting to run. Dad wants you to be a good girl. But it's a great thing that he got to meet that little girl and that he got to love on her. So that's cool. All right. So you saw this on the weekends when you were there, and he would but you say he's always had trouble falling asleep.
Starting like around late January, yes.
With the trouble falling asleep?
Yes.
Oh, before that he didn't?
No, the only reason why he was up because he's on the phone talking.
Oh, okay. So you're talking in the January. Okay. So, and that goes for this too and this. So that's when the trouble falling asleep started.
Yes.
Okay. When you said always had trouble falling asleep, I'm thinking like the whole time. Okay. So in January and February, the things that changed was he had trouble falling asleep, whereas before he was talking on the phone. So in January and February, he wanted to go to sleep. He didn't want to talk on the phone, and he couldn't. Okay.
He stopped. He lived on his phone, and then it's like he'll see a call. Oh, okay, maybe I'll call them later. That's strange, but okay. And then he started declining and wanted to go to church. He's like, if I don't go to church, they might think something. I don't want them coming up to the house worry about me. So let me just get up and go. And then my mom was like, maybe you should call someone to take you there, or you want me to take you there. And he's like, no, it's okay. I'm just going to go.
And before that, he never struggled to go to church.
No.
Okay. What else about January and February?
That's just when we started being more forgetful. He just wanted to be. He was more clingy to my mother too. I guess clingy to all of us. My mother, Carrie Ann, and I was like being more nice. It's like, well, what's going on with you? Because like I said, he's always strict.
Right.
It's what he said goes. She's like, okay. I would say, oh, hey, let's do this. Okay. he will normally be like a back and forth. No, I don't want to do this. And I'm like, now it's like, okay. I'm like, okay.
So very, very agreeable.
Yes. It was just odd.
Just strange. And then repeating. All right. Let me make sure that we got everything. Ooh. One page. Have any questions for me?
Yes. So this is dealing with the situation with Kate.
Mm-hmm.
Does she already know about?
I haven't said anything. Now I don't know. As far as I know, the whole situation and being upset that they were even sent, that came from Mom and you and Carrie Ann. So it's stayed in my house. I don't know if it's staying in your house, but as of right now, it's just the four of us. Well, and then my boss. Why? Do you think she does?
I don't know. I was just worried. Like,
no. And the thing of it is again with her position, and I've got to put it together. But there's more. Carrie Ann sent me more posts that are just nasty and negative. So, of course, the biggest one is the photograph and the, another life or someone else is going to die or something about the horror show. Those are the two main ones, but it's also the constant. So we'll have plenty. I haven't gotten into that yet. My forensic detective, he's going to help me go through the information because it's vast and he knows his way around. He'll go, bop, 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 this is what you need and that kind of thing. Then I need to do the subpoena. So it's going to take me a few weeks, okay? I'll be honest with you. The charge it's a misdemeanor, okay? Which I'm okay with. I don't know necessarily that anybody's really wanting her to do prison time. It's just wrong, and you need to take responsibility for it. And I think that's kind of what Mom said. She just wants it to stop. So it's a misdemeanor. So, it'll, once I get it put in place, it won't take me long to type it and put it together. It's just going to take a little bit to get through the information and the subpoena to WhatsApp to identify who it is that sent it, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a process. It's not going to be something that I can type up and do tomorrow. So you guys just hang tight. You guys are safe. You know that. You're safe here, and Mom's safe with Carrie Ann. Nobody's going to get into Carrie Ann's house either. I don't think anybody knows where she lives.
She knows where Carrie Ann lives.
Huh?
She knows where Carrie Ann lives.
Kay does?
Yes.
Oh, that's right, because of the funeral and stuff, right? So, anyway, and she's got resources. I mean, in all honesty, if somebody went and looked at the property appraiser's website, they'd be able to find it because you can look by somebody's name. But it's okay, I mean, Carrie Ann knows not to open the door for anybody. If she feels threatened at all, she's not to open the door. She's to contact 911 immediately, and we'll throw them off the property. It's just a process, okay? And the reason it's a process is because it didn't happen right in front of me. And with it being technology, I've got to cross those T's and I've got to dot those I's because I want to make sure she doesn't have a defense. Does that make sense? Well, I loaned my phone out and somebody else sent it. Well, you're responsible. And WhatsApp says this account is registered to you. Does that you see where I'm going? Yes. So it will take me a little bit, and I'm leaving. I'm not going to be here the first week of May. I need so, but we'll get it. I mean, don't even go there. As far as I know, she knows nothing though. And as long as it stays between the four of us and we don't talk to other family about it, and it's, that's where it'll stay. But like I said, Carrie Ann already threw me a whole bunch more posts. So all she's doing is making it worse on herself. Okay?
Yeah, because I was kind of worried, like, when she find out, is she going to try to drive up here or anything?
Well, in all honesty, she better not. Okay? Because it's a misdemeanor, and right now, it's not a career ender. If she hates being a trooper, then she can drive up here and she can run her mouth. And then she can go find a new job. Okay? So it's sad enough that holding the position that she holds with your moral oath to protect and serve, that you feel like you need to do something like this. That's bad enough. If you're going to continue to make poor judgment decisions and drive up here, that's on you. You're done. And she'll give all this up. And let me tell you, it ain't easy to get to this level. So I would hope that that's the one thing that makes me relatively comfortable that you guys are safe, because, I mean, seriously, what's she going to do? Drive up in her squad car? Right? But that's the attitude. You guys don't do anything, okay? And you repeat that, because I'm not going to get to Carrie Ann this week. I'll have to get to Carrie Ann next week. Make sure you repeat that to them, because you'll probably be with them over the weekend, okay? You don't engage Kay. You don't engage Dornette. You don't engage Michael. These are the three that seem to be the ringleaders of all this nasty information and this nastiness, okay? So let's say that you're at the house and Dornette shows up. She screaming, yelling, whatever. You pick up your phone and just look at her and you dial 911. And you tell the officer, there's a woman on my property that I want to go away. She's not welcome here. And they'll send an officer. So if they want to come up here and scream and yell about you putting furniture out and oh my gosh this and oh my gosh that, you get in the house, you shut the garage door, you shut the door, and you dial 911. Dial 911 right away. Because if she comes and gets in your face, guess where it's all recorded. Okay? So you have everything on your side. And just, like I said, just look around you. If you hear her, because somebody's taking pictures over there. Because it's, huh?
Yes, I was about to ask about that too.
No idea, girlfriend. No idea. It's got to be one of them, because somebody's posting it. And I don't know if they're in cahoots with a neighbor that's I have no idea. But it's just dumb. Okay? So that's my thing. There's been no physical threat of violence. Okay? So you just, when you're with mom and you're over on Fallon, or if you're over at Carrie Ann's and you see Dornette pull up, or Michael or Kay or any of them, you just call 911. Just because Kay sent the picture doesn't mean that Dornette can't run her mouth. And you guys don't deserve that. Nobody deserves to be at the end of that woman's vicious tongue. Okay? So if you see Dornette, poor mom thought Dornette was coming up to help, and all it was just to get information. And you don't engage them. If you're moving something out and you see a car parked and somebody's in it, you go into the house and you call 911 and you say, there's a car over here. We're nervous. Would you please check them out? The guys will come check it out. Let them check it out. You don't walk down there and engage them. If Dornette shows up and gets out of her car, you look, you walk into the house, you shut the door, you dial 911. You don't deserve that. Throw them off of your property. Okay? I'm working on the K thing as fast as I can. I'm just at the mercy of subpoenas and stuff. But if I get the subpoena, then it's locked in. Okay? And like I said, we've had no blatant threat of violence. And I really want to, when I do this charge, I want to make it stick. Okay? So that's why I want to do the job. I don't want to do it quick. I want to do it right. Okay? So just bear with me. But don't take any of their shit. Anybody shows up, you just, Mom, come on. And I don't care if Dornette says, wait a minute. No. You do not engage or speak to these people. They are going to do nothing but hurt your feelings. They are destroying Mom's heart. Like, you three have not been through enough. I would say Michael too, but I'm not so sure about him. But the three of you don't deserve this. Nobody deserves this. You're trying to grieve for your father. You lost him for 2 days, and then we find him, and now you have to say goodbye. Nobody should go through this. And then to suffer all this abuse? No. No, it's bad enough having to say goodbye and in a tragic way, but nobody deserves it. So do not, and you repeat that. And I know you're going to see him this weekend, okay? Today's my actual Friday, okay? But when they finally gave us 410s, so that's why I'm off on Fridays. Send me emails. I'll check my emails, okay? If you have to, you call into the station or whatever. I'll forward my phone over the weekend. So if you absolutely need me, but if not, shoot me an email. You know, I always check those. I can't be on duty 24/7. I love what I do, but I just can't do it. Just don't. Okay, and you repeat that to Mom, and you repeat that to Carrie Ann. You sit down and you tell them. Detective Meyer said if they show up, we go in the house, we call 911, we will throw them off the property. Unless their name's on that deed, and unless Mom wants them to stay, we will throw them off. Okay? And then we can actually trespass them. So let's say Dornette's standing in the front yard screaming. Okay? And she's not advancing, but she's in the yard and she's just screaming at you, yelling murderers, whatever the hell she wants to spit out of her mouth, okay? You call 911 and you say, there's somebody on my property, I don't want to hear you. You know, you make sure that you're safe. If she's not advancing and you're comfortable listening to her scream, this is, you guys got to make that judgment call because I'm not going to be there. But I would suggest get in the house, shut it up, call 911. When the guys get there, if she's still on the property, you can, do you have Ring video over there?
No.
Okay. Then you can have her trespassed. Okay, now I'm talking Dornette, Kay, Michael, anybody that Mom doesn't want there or that you or Carrie Ann don't want there. More Mom because it's her house. You can do what they call a trespass warning. Okay, and that means it's logged with dispatch that Dornette, Kay, or whomever is not allowed on that property at Fallon Drive or Carrie Ann's or wherever. If they come back, they go to jail. No questions asked. Okay, you have to have the trespass warning in place. Once you establish that, if Dornette comes back to start more trouble, she goes straight to jail. No questions. Okay?
Okay.
So you guys have got a lot of tools on your side. And like I said, with the threats the way they are, the nastiness the way it is on Facebook, we're gonna go after her, but just use your head. Don't let her scream at you. I don't know that Dornette or Kay would ever physically go at you guys. I think that the main thing is just ripping your heart out with their words and their pictures. I can't believe that some of the things they've said and done. It just absolutely floors me. And I've been doing this for 20 years. And I think this is probably the nastiest I've seen people. Okay?
Okay.
Anything else?
That was it.
Okay. I am a phone call away. I am an email away. Okay? If you send me an email and you tell me SOS, throw the phone number in there, I'll call you. I'll figure out what's going on if you need any help. Okay? The 28th, hang on. All right, it is 5:02 on Thursday, April 22nd, and I am done with my interview with Kristine.